Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching today. Today's video, or this video, is for Friday, June 2nd. And today is about your philosophies, your principles, and your standards. And I'll try to keep this short on a Friday because I just did one for Thursday. So, philosophies, principles, standards, basically these three things make up your reality, your day-to-day you, makes up your life, your goals, your success with relationships, your happiness is based on your philosophies, your principles, and your standards. They're so important. We all have them, no matter if you're thinking about them or not on a daily basis. So I wanted to give you four principles to help you think about these more often so they're in alignment with what the life you want to live. So number one is be aware how you feel. Be aware how you feel. How you feel, your emotions at any given time are a result of something that just happened to you, that is happening to you, or your life in general. Your mood, your feelings right now is based on something, and that something that happened probably has something to do with your feelings, have something to do with how you reacted based on your principles, your philosophies, and your standards. Example, the way people treat you, how do you feel? I know that to me, I have a somewhat average, more than average thick skin, so to say. So how people treat me doesn't affect my mood as much as some other people, you know. Example, like, and hopefully maybe this is in your household. You have a spouse, my wife, to the same person, we're somewhere, they say the same thing. I'm like, oh, that's fine. And like, wow, they were rude, or they weren't helpful. And I go, wow, they were very helpful. I'm happy about the situation. And then she's not happy about the situation. So that's an example that just popped in my head about your feelings right now are about your philosophies, your principles, and your standards. So that was an example of the standard you have as yourself on how someone is talking to you or interacting with you. So always be aware of how you feel. Second, be committed. Be committed to your principles, your philosophies, your standards. This is your minimum standard for how you want people to treat you. This is your philosophy on how to interact with people and how you want them to interact with you. I'm just using this example of communication and relationships. Is, be committed to that. That's what your philosophy is, and your principles on how you talk, the things that you talk about, how you communicate with others. Again, now I'm sticking with this example of communication because our lives, personal and business, is all about communication. And in your principles of how you communicate with people, like me, I'm like, I'm as much as possible, I like to get to the point type principles. Like my principles, give me the point, tell me what you need, and I don't need the whole long story. And I stick with that principles of people just, and what I want is just information. Other people like the whole story and want to hear, take things for an hour, want to hear the emotions part of it, all of that. They want to know the start to finish, where something started, where something finished. I want something that, how I like to communicate with people is this way. Now, that's my principle of how, or philosophy of communication. But then one of the next thing is, three is be patient, because your principles, your philosophies, your standards when communicating with other people might not align 100%. So you got to be patient with people. You got to be, committed to yours, but you got to be a little bit flexible too in the communication part of it too. But you have to be last is the list. So be aware of how you feel. One, be committed, be patient. And four, be conscious of the results and see if they're in line with what you want. Be conscious of the results. So again, sticking with just the one thing of communication is that your philosophies, your principles, your standards of communicating and how you're treated and how you treat other people, be conscious of the results and if they're aligned with what you want. And then you might be, really, this is a fifth thing, you might have to be flexible a little bit because your goal is, your principles, your philosophies, and your standards could be based on the result. Like, I want to have a good conversation with someone. I want to make my point across. I want to help them with the situation they're in. I want to have a good relationship with someone. That's your ultimate principle, philosophy, and standard. But you also have your principle, philosophy, standard of how you like to communicate and how you like to have a relationship with people. And you might have to make sure they're aligned. Does that make sense? And I'll give you one more example that's just popping into my head. When having a relationship with a client, I'm all about constant communication. What's going on? What's the quick updates? How things are handled. I show my value, my principles is how you're going to communicate with me, making sure I'm on task, making sure I do the best job, kind of like more like a I use this in my last video, like a doctor. I don't need my doctor to be my best friend. I don't need to have my doctor, he or she, know how many kids I have. I just want my doctor to do what they're supposed to do and give me that advice. Other people, but that's what I'm saying, make sure they're aligned. Other people don't like to communicate that way. They want to have a relationship with their realtor. They want to know everything about them from start to finish. What did they do for vacation? Where did they went to eat last night? How many kids do they have? Their whole backstory, because that's how they build a relationship with each other. So to put that back together a little bit, because I was a little bit splitting that up on your philosophies, your principles, and your standards of what kind of results and relationship you want to have with people, and then the philosophies and principles, standards, how you want to communicate. So hopefully you picture that the results, the relationship, and the communication. So that's where you have to make sure that, the last thing is being conscious of the results. Are two parts of your, but the same part, but two different sections of a relationship with either a personal, your friends, family, a business relationship. Are your philosophies, principles, standards with communication, and your principles and philosophies and standards with the end result of the whole relationship? Are they aligned? So you might have to move those around a little bit and be flexible and be patient, which is number 3, to make sure, because you can't go through life and these are the people that I feel are not very good in sales or very successful in sales, because there's all different kind of people that go, these are the way I like to talk, these are the way I like to communicate, this is the way I want a relationship, this, and you're just, if everything doesn't align and you're not patient, you're not flexible, and you're not conscious of the result, and you're going to have a hard time handling a lot of different personalities and different people, if that makes sense. So part of my job every day, at least once a day, is explaining to an agent, in my experience, is that you have to, your principles, your philosophies, your standards are not always aligned with other people, but you have to figure out how to communicate and come to some type of agreement in business on there, right? You can't have everybody that's exact same with you in that perfect fit. Sometimes we find those clients and those special people in our lives that are perfectly aligned with the same principles, same philosophies, the same standards. But that's very rare, but exactly the same fit. But so that's why I feel the last one, be conscious of the result, see if things are aligned with everything, and figure out how to step back and align those a little bit closer, because if you don't align those, you're not going to have a successful transaction, successful happy customer, successful relationship, that someone will bring you more business in the future. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense today, but I know it was off a little bit of tangent there for a second. So just want to explain what I have in my head when I think of, your philosophies, your principles, and your standards. So that's it for a Friday. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you watching my videos. Remember, I'm here for you. If you need me, call, text, email me anytime. So have a great day, good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.